Hi, this is Rayu and here's the recap about the webinar, The Cryptography Basics, Data Encryption, held last December 11, 2021. Cryptography is a method of protecting information and communication through the use of codes so that only those for whom the information is intended can read and process it. The content of the report includes IT security threat, IT security goal, what is cryptography, basic term, encryption and decryption, categories of cryptography, comparison, conclusion. IT security is to protect information and the process of information. This type of security prevents unauthorized third parties to access the data. There are three types of IT security: the physical security, cyber security, and the information security. The unauthorized third parties are the cause of security threat that act to corrupt or steal the data on the system. There are two types of threats. Passive threats, it create the release of message contents or traffic analysis, and the active threats, which includes masquerade, replay modification of message contents, and denial of service. Here is a graph where the biggest data breaches of all time is presented. Yahoo, with the most number of records compromised, has been for hacking, followed by First American and Facebook with poor security. Microsoft is also part of the biggest data breaches of all time with misconfiguration. The most common human error of data breach is phishing breakdown with a 34%. This includes remote access, scams, etc., followed by the network intrusion with a 19%. IT security, or the goal of the security in general, is to compromise the confidentiality, integrity, and non-repudiation to assure that the information or data of the system to be protected. Here is the another meaning of cryptography. Cryptography refers to secure information and communication techniques derived from the mathematical concept and a set of rule-based. The basic terms used in cryptography includes plain text, which is what encryption algorithms or ciphers transforms an encrypted message into. The ciphertext is encrypted text transformed from the plain text using an encryption algorithm. Encryption and decryption, these are going to be discussed later on, and the keys are the string of characters used within an encryption algorithms for altering data so that it appears random. The advantages and disadvantages of encryption include: for advantages, encrypted data can't be easily read. Strong encryption may require years of work to decrypt without the key. And for the disadvantages, encrypted files draw attention to their value of if you lose the key, you lose the data. For large files, strong encryption may take significant time to decrypt. Here's a representation for the use of encryption and decryption. A plain text has to be encrypted into a ciphertext in order to be protected. Once it is protected, the IT security system will use decryption to turn the ciphertext into a plain text once again. There are two types of cryptography. Symmetric key cryptography and asymmetric key cryptography. Categories of cryptography. While symmetric encryption is older method of encryption, it is faster and more efficient than asymmetric encryption, which takes a toll on networks due to performance issues with data size and heavy CPU use. Some examples of where symmetric cryptography is used are payment applications such as card transaction, validation to confirm that the sender of message is who he claims to be, random number generation, or hashing. These are the traditional ciphers. Next is asymmetric key cryptography. Known as public key cryptography, is a process that uses a pair of related keys and one public key and one private key. Asymmetric key used in for the server and client to engage in a secure conversation. TLS certificate needs to be created and verified by the certificate. The browser verifies the server certificate and creates a random session key. These are the example of asymmetric key used in a web browser. And these are the example of some encryption and decryption. Here, as you can see, in the left, there are plain text here that is hello, this is my sample encryption, and it will turn into code encrypted the encrypted text, and when you turn the cipher data, once you encrypt the plain text, it will turn to ciphertext, and you need to decrypt it to turn it again to the normal plain text. Other sample of encryption. Applications. Applications for encryption and data security. Defense services, secure data manipulation, e-commerce, business transactions, internet payment systems, user identification systems, access control, data security. Conclusion, by using of encryption techniques, a pair unit of confidentiality, authentication, integrity, access control, and availability of data is maintained.